Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Friday, October 18th, 2024. We're going to, in this video, take a look at the wildfire situation that is not drawing a lot of media attention, and it may possibly be due to more factors than the fact that Wyoming isn't near a news hub. Now, I take that into account because when I lived in Alaska, we had some major news events happen, and it took a long time for news to get out because of the hub issue. We news reporters had to travel for quite a while to get to us. So, I was wondering, is there more to it than that? Is it just that there's no major hubs nearby? And let's find out. I'm going to take you to a compilation I've got that discusses the Wyoming wildfires, and then we will ask the universe for insights and information about it. By the way, I think I've mentioned in the past that one thing I do before making a video, while I don't ask the question we're going to ask, I do often ask the cards if they are ready to speak about the issue. And I did in this case, and the first card that jumped out, my answer was justice. So it sounds to me as if the universe has some information for us that they are more than happy to share. We'll find out as we go, won't we? First, the compilation. If it interests you to look at in more detail, or I mention links that you'd like to pursue yourself, while I found them with just very easy searches, you can go to my compilation by clicking on the Facebook link that will be in the video description box. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now one link I couldn't give you, Facebook would not allow it, and I'm sure YouTube won't either, is this is a social media post over on Telegram, and you can see right here what channel you should be looking for. If you think there's some good information here and you'd like to see what else they've put out, I wasn't allowed to give you a link, but I was allowed to post the post. So interesting, huh? I'm not complaining. At least I got to use it. It says here, the elk fire in Wyoming continues to burn out of control. You won't see this fire getting major media coverage and broadcasted all over social media because another alleged land grab is taking place and they don't want this fire getting exposure. You see, they found 2.34 billion tons of neodymium. I don't know quite how to say that, so forgive me. A magnetic mineral which is pretty vital to computer technologies. Chariot Mining just found the first hard lithium deposits in Wyoming in the last month or so. Chariot stock price has gone up nearly 40% in the last month. These massive fires are only 45 minutes away from Black Mountain, the main project of Chariot Mining Company. Draw your own conclusions. Then they had some leave a comment, and one had a very pertinent one, I thought. Maui, land grab for leisure. North Carolina, land grab for lithium. Wyoming, land grab for neodymium. So you can, if I said it wrong, you can read what it should have said. The location of whatever mineral the feds want next will soon be attacked by fake climate change. Feds or big corporations, I would say. Okay. All right. And another comment here. I'll let you read that. I don't want to lose my channel. And let's go then to the next thing. I found all over on the platform X, Wall Street Apes has some good coverage of the issue with the Wyoming fires. And then I tried to go mainstream and scientific for you, okay? So WyomingPublicMedia.org is reporting on it. And since they're in state, they, do have their, um, I'd say, hands on the pulse of what's going on there, okay? And then I'm gonna stop that share for just a second. Hang on. Last but not least, here we go one last time. I went to the fireweatherlaunch.org. Oh, fireweatheravalanche.org for the state of Wyoming. It's supposed to be an interactive site. I didn't find it to be too interactive. I kept clicking on things to see what it see and links were broken, but you can get to the basic information about wildfires wherever they might be. So it does show nationwide, but since I asked for Wyoming, Wyoming is included here in this. And let's enlarge it a little and move it over a little. Not that much, Laura. Okay. And you can see the fires that are going and learn more about the placement of them, where they are, etc. Okay. So I don't want to phrase a question in such a way that I preclude getting information that the universe is anxious to share. I am simply going to ask for information about the situation in Wyoming with the wildfires that are raging. And let's just ask for insights and information and let the universe choose what it wishes to share. Okay, I'm going to move the camera over so you can watch me work with the cards from start to finish, and we'll discover the answer to this question together. We are looking for insights and information about the wildfires going on and have been for days in Wyoming. And I suspect that the alt media chatter, that there's a deliberate suppression of information there may be going on, although the excuse is that there's been so much coverage in other parts of the country for other man-made disasters. And yes, I said man-made, that there just wasn't a lot of available teams to cover this situation. Let's find out what's going on. So, insights and information about the wildfire. I don't want to say wildfires, the fires in Wyoming. I think if I use the word wildfires, I'm going to be limiting our information. So the widespread fires in Wyoming. Okay, we have, yeah, there's a trickery involved. We have the Five of Swords. Luckily, it's temporary trickery because fives are temporary situations. Then we have the Ten of Cups, Magician, haha, the Emperor, Seven of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles. Let's talk about these cards, and I'll probably get two more before we wrap this video up just to see what's going on. But the situation is being indicated by the Five of Swords. And in a current events type of reading, this is a card that talks about, at best, a partial win. But usually, it's perceived that the opponents are just walking away in disgust. So there has been shenanigans involved with that, which I do without even reading, and I'm sure you did too. Okay. However, this card also indicates that those shenanigans haven't been as successful or widespread as they originally hoped. Okay. Now, clarifying that, we have the Ten of Cups again, saying, yeah, those fires are not wild fires per se, wild in origin, but there's been some really good response on the part of fire suppression teams and firefighters on the ground, and they have done a lot. Now we can also help them, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, the Magician card in the recent past, manifestation. Okay, he is the master at it. So what's wanted, he can provide it. And he is the reason, the indication here from the shenanigans aspect of those fires. It just hasn't had the success that they wanted. The white hats are on it, absolutely. Okay, I look forward to the day that we hear on alt media chatter, whether it's a discussion site or a supposedly satire site, that the last of the direct energy weapon planes that are in bad hands have been dealt with. So that's again something we can be saying we want to make happen with our manifestation abilities, folks. So think about that. Now let's look at the near future. What's going on? They're determined to see these fires out. Absolutely. Those fighting them and those that are just fed up with these kind of shenanigans and the causes associated with them. The um, strongest insight card here is the Eight of Pentacles telling us, yeah, there's really talented, good teams on the ground that are working on this. Absolutely. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles, strong feminine energy here. Interesting. Could be indicating a number of sources for that. But again, now part of that is I have some strong feminine, divine feminine energy, and I am going to share it with you folks because we're not just current events here. We're getting into the woo about how we can address situations and impact them, even if we can't quantify it in current scientific approved ways. Okay. But again, she cares about innocent life, and so do we. And so there's a lot of effort going on to have the least amount, and it's not a little amount, but the least amount of suffering and tragedy to the flora and fauna of Wyoming. Okay, I've seen some horrible, horrible video footage of elk trying to escape the blazes. It's just horrible. Okay, strength, divine feminine again. We got it, folks. We're going to talk about this. Okay, and then the Five of Pentacles just says, the things I'm going to discuss with you here, as far as what can we do, even though it might seem unlikely if you're new to the woo, um, we're going to go our own way and do it. Can't hurt a thing. Might help. I know it will help. Okay, so that's it for the card portion. I'm going to switch the camera back and we're going to do a recap and talk about what we can do. So let's recap. There is a number of fires raging in Wyoming and have been for days. And the air quality near the fires is poor. They've had to have some evacuations of populated areas, and it's been devastating to the wildlife, the flora and fauna of the area where those fires have occurred. And there's very little coverage in the news about it. The excuse from the mainstream is always that, oh, there are other places, in South Carolina, Florida, things like that, or they're following the election trail, that kind of thing. But it looks like there's some deliberate suppression of this information. Now, why is that? Okay. Why that is because people are waking up to the fact that so many of these calamities are in places where they've recently found some very valuable mineral deposits, and or there's been some proposed plans to do 15-minute cities. And the Wyoming is kind of falling under that. I shared some information about some recent mineral deposits that have been found there, how the company that found those mineral deposits has had in 1 month a 40% jump in their stock prices. And then we asked the universe just for insights and information, because what I had got from the universe in asking if it was ready to talk about this, up came the justice card saying, yes, it is time to address this issue. So we did. Now, first of all, the good news. The situation's being indicated by the Five of Swords, which says they have plans for a whole lot more burning and going on damage than they've been able to manage. Okay? To the point that there can actually be some patting on the back on the parts of white hats, firefighters, what have you, that these fire situations have not been quite as prolific as they originally hoped. Now, recent past, Magician card said for whatever reason, we've been able to manifest some changes in that situation. And I'm going to get into the woo here, so hang with me, please. And if you give it even 1% credence, what I'm about to tell you when I get done talking about the cards, please give it a try. Okay? The white hats, the good guys, or the mostly good guys, are on it. Okay? All right. They don't have to land grab to take advantage of natural resources. They just don't. They don't have to displace people. They don't have to harm, I don't think. And the white hats, I think, pretty much have that perception also. There are ways to do that kind of thing. Okay? Okay, to access natural resources. Let's look at the near future. Determination has showed up. So, yeah, those fighting this fire, including you and I in a few minutes, okay, we're determined to turn the tide. The firefighters on the ground, the crews that are there, highly skilled, seeing some results, going to see more. And there's some strong divine feminine energy that is going to play a part in this, whether it is just simply Mother Earth or those of us that have a good balance of divine and masculine feminine in our energy fields and use it appropriately. We are stronger than they want us to know, but we're figuring it out. And even if it feels like we're going to be going into our own sort of unconventional conflict here, I think it's going to be worth it. Now, what have I been alluding to? The simple fact that we, first of all, any this is scientific fact. Any observed event is changed by the observation. That's scientific fact. Okay? We're aware of this situation. We've observed it. That has made some changes. Now, we humans, we're just bundles of energy, okay? And energy flows where attention goes. So I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to challenge you. I'd love to, but I'm just going to ask you to give some thought to putting focused energy on those fires. Now we want to be careful, okay? Some of those fires love that could be transmuted. We want those fires to turn back on themselves and burn out. We want to make manifest the firefighting personnel on the ground to have more success within a shorter time period than they ever dreamed possible. But any fire that turns back on itself does not have fuel. So wherever possible, when it would do the least amount of damage to innocent life, including, like I said, flora and fauna, if those fires could be turned back, okay, and just lose their fuel and just simply go away. We could also make manifest, even though there's some shenanigans out there with weather manipulation, we can be picturing some precipitation coming. And anytime there's been more than 2 or 3 days of fires in a region, the smoke does tend to make it easier for rain to be a result. Don't ask me about the science about that. I just know that from living in Alaska with wildfires being part of our life, even without shenanigans up there. Okay, I mean, we had fires one year that were the size of the state of Wyoming. So we spent the whole summer on fire in Alaska. And when the smoke seemed to cause some cloud formation and precipitation to come in, which ultimately did help. Okay, but we can do more. So if you are willing to step aside from some of the traditional thought patterns and feeling like I'm 1,000 miles away or I'm halfway across the world, how could I make a difference? Give it a try. Okay, you may never get in this current lifetime, you may never get that confirmation that you made a difference. But like I said, if your energy is going to be sent somewhere or for something, why not make it for a cause and a purpose like this? It's worth a try. So please picture those fires. Like I said, where it would work the best, turning back on itself and losing fuel and losing power and going out, whether it be mechanical failures on the direct energy weaponry that may be instigating these things or whatever. Okay. Picture the way you want to send your energy to make a difference and give it a shot. Let's save some milk. Let's save some people who are very sensitive to air pollution, some discomfort, or even medical emergencies. Especially what I'm thinking here is people with asthma and lung issues. So let's do our part, okay? We can be a long way away and we can still send that energy. By the way, time is a false construct. It is absolutely possible to say, I want this energy to be sent back 3 days in time. And if you're willing to do it and you can picture that being a possibility, that's all it takes to make it happen, guys. Okay. Now, one last thing before I sign off here, besides a reminder that on Sunday we will be doing a meditation, same sort of focus. We're going to be looking at election integrity across the planet, and we're going to be helping to make that manifest from whatever multiple ways we can picture that happening. So please, if you're available on Sunday, join us. If you're not available, watch it at a later date and send that energy back to it because it's a worthy cause. We regular, normal humans have had far too election processes where our votes didn't count the way we intended them to count. So let's look at election integrity as another one of those energy challenges, manifestation, homework assignments for us, okay? And then my apology is when I was doing the read, I know I said I would get two more cards, and I've since moved back here and done the recap. I apologize for that. I I never, I never show you cards unless you have watched me work with the deck and then um, see me do the shuffling and dealing. So I'm not going to be able to give you those two cards, even though they're right at my fingertips. I haven't looked at them yet, but they're right here. But since I moved the camera, I'm not going to do it. So we're going to stick with the original cards from the original read for our information. Okay, that's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and attention and for going down these rabbit trails with me and for being willing to think outside or what seems to be outside the box as far as accepting the fact that we have a lot more power and energy at our fingertips than they wanted us to know that we know. And we're learning how to use it. So let's do it. Whether it's putting out fires, calming storms, providing election integrity, let's do it. Oh, and I'm sorry, one last thing. I have been told that because I've announced the election integrity intention for the meditation, that we are going to be energetically under attack. So if you are an energy worker, a light worker, would you please send protection or just have the intention that any negative energy that's being directed at us, and remember, we know about the time thing, so it needs to be not just during, but before and after. We want to encapsulate our intention in absolute safety and just shining white light. So we have done a fabulous job in the past of sending negative energy and intentions to be transmuted. We're going to do it again. But I've been told that again, we're learning some skills and abilities that are very challenging for low vibrational beings that wanted us kept suppressed and depressed and under control. Okay? But that's not going to stop us because nothing can stop what is coming. And what's coming is God wins. Until next time, I thank you for your time and attention and viewership. And if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and I wish for you all things bright. Bye.